And we have Andrea Binder with us. She's a fellow at the Global Public Policy Institute and author of an analysis called Why China's Wealthy Elites Have So Much at Stake in Hong Kong. Andrea, good morning. Thank you for joining us. First of all, who are we talking about here? Who are China's wealthy elites?
So because of the strong role of the government in Chinese economics, in China, the wealthy elites are often also hold political office. So we have a very close link between economic and political elites in China.
And they are in Hong Kong. What position, what role do they play there?
They are mostly on the mainland, but they do hold their wealth in Hong Kong because Hong Kong is an offshore financial center. As such, it has a different legal and monetary system to the mainland, which allows for regulatory arbitrage. So that allows you to pay less tax or to be able to invest in ways that you can't if you do it from the mainland. And therefore, you become richer more quickly if you invest your money in Hong Kong.
So what has the unrest of the last 3 months meant for them?
So obviously, unrest is always a problem for any marketplace because investors like it safe. But in particular for the Hong Kong situation is complicated for Chinese wealthy elites because the political interest is obviously in integrating Hong Kong into the mainland, as will happen in 2047 anyway. But it's the two systems, one country approach that actually allows for that arbitrage. So their economic interests, particularly about managing their private wealth, and their political interests are actually contradictory.
Okay, so how much influence do they actually have? I assume they want to protect that privilege and that wealth. How much influence do they have to prevent a Chinese crackdown on Hong Kong?
So that's a very difficult question to answer because the purpose of offshore finance is to make ownership invisible. So in the end, we cannot say which individual holds their wealth in Hong Kong, whether it's like the president or his family or it's lower down in the ranks. But obviously, it is people that are very influential in the party. And so for themselves, they have to find out whether the political interest prevails or their private economic interest prevails. And it's definitely one factor that they will consider among many others.
Have they done so far? Are they speaking together as one voice?
I cannot say that, but I'm not even sure there's a very clear knowledge about that mechanism, but more a sense of this is threatening our private wealth than actually knowing all the mechanics. It's usually the lawyers and the investment bankers coming up with these offshore strategies.
And can mainland China really afford to lose Hong Kong as a market?
That's a very interesting question that goes far beyond private wealth because Hong Kong has been an international financial center for China for many years. It's the place that sort of outsourced liberalization from the mainland to Hong Kong. Many aspects of this is now in other financial centers. So China made sure to become more independent, so to speak, from Hong Kong, but Hong Kong remains very important in internationalizing the currency.
All right, Andrea Binder from the Global Public Policy Institute here in Berlin. Thank you for your analysis this morning.
Thank you.